igual, prohibió 25 asaltos. Bien, después de estos...
No contest, thus the perfect still 12-0 record for Mathis. Mathis comes in. What's his mood as he gets ready for a second chance at that same title, Bob?
Well, I don't think Buster Mathis really had enough time to worry about what happened down in Corpus Christi, Texas. The USBA acted very promptly after the results of the urinalysis, and they channeled him into the other championship opportunity. I think he'll be very focused for the fight.
As far as Biggs is concerned, this is a guy that has been in the ring with all of the great champions, either while they were champions or on their way up. But he looks like he might be a new, retooled Tyrell Biggs today.
You know, Tyrell Biggs has always had all the ability in the world since a gold medalist in the 1984 Olympics, a world amateur champion prior to that. He really, but, you know, he's settled back down. He's back in, you know, with Jerry Page, his Olympic teammate from '84. There's a real close personal bond between the two of them, and you see, he looked wonderful at the weigh-in yesterday, Sam, and I really think he's got a fresh track, and this is a heck of an opportunity for him.
Well, that'll be our main event. We get ready to go with this fight as Corrie Sanders steps into the ring undefeated out of South Africa, and he tries to keep that record unblemished with those 14 knockouts against Marshall Tillman. Tillman, who has been in the ring with some of the classy fighters as well, gets ready to see what he can do. How about coming on today? And you get a good close look at Corrie Sanders. Sanders, interesting enough, the 4 fights he had in '92, he won them all by decision. The 4 fights in '93, all won on early knockouts. This guy may look like the guy that's on his way up. He's already ranked in the top 10 at all 3 of the alphabet soup, with all of the associations ranking him high. Tillman, will he have enough to challenge him here today? Well, only time will tell. We're looking at a good crowd filing in again to the Performing Arts Theater here at the Aladdin, and we're ready for the introduction. Let's go upstairs with our ring announcer. Here is Kenny Payton.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our co-main event. Your judges for this bout, the Dick Hawk, Bill Valencia, and Lou Talbot. The man in charge, the referee, is Jay Nady. 10 rounds of boxing in the heavyweight division. Introducing first, in the blue corner, fighting out of Transvaal, South Africa. He has a professional record to his credit of 21 wins, no defeats, and 14 by KO. He is currently ranked number 5 in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give him an American welcome to Corrie Sanders. And his opponent, in the red corner, weighing in at 213 pounds. Have a professional record to his credit of 14 wins, 10 defeats, 1 draw, 12 by KO. Fighting out of New Orleans, Louisiana. Let's welcome Marshall Tillman.
So as Sanders and Tillman get ready for their instructions with the referee, let's take a look at the tail of the tape. Marshall, a couple of years older. You see the height advantage will be in favor. Not only that, of the reach as well of Corrie Sanders. It also came in weighing at 225 compared to 213. The bottom rules, 10-point must system, no standing 8, 3 knockdown rule in effect. And he saved the bell only the last round, and only the referee has a permission to come up to stop this fight at his discretion. We're ready to go. They're set for 10 heavyweights. Corrie Sanders in the white, while in the black will be Marshall Tillman, and here we go to see if Sanders again can continue that knockout string of 4 in a row he had in '93.
You know, Sam, Marshall Tillman he's a quick fighter. You know, probably not a big heavyweight by any means, but he's got good quickness and a good set of legs on him, and he's going to move around his ring and try to have Corrie follow him around a little bit. And you see him where he gives him that low angle, and he'll spring up out of there, but he'll be pretty much defensive early in this fight. Try to walk Corrie Sanders around the ring and, you know, hopefully get him a little tired out after that long trip from overseas.
You see, of course, that Tillman comes in, does not give you a full target. The hit comes in with that left shoulder held high, and you see where most of the punches that Corrie throwing right now are landing. It is on that shoulder. He threw a pretty good left hook that got in there, though. Tillman has been out of the ring since August of '93, despite the fact he fought in what was called the winner-take-all heavyweight fight. And he lost to Bone Crusher Smith in his last fight after beating Jason Williams. You may recall they had to fight 3 rounds, and he won his first one, lost in the second. That was down in Mississippi. That was held in December. But his last regular fight back in August of '93.
The Jason Williams fight, Jason Williams, the highly touted brother of Jeremy Williams, unbeaten heavyweight prospect. Jason Williams also handled by Bill Caton out of New York, and it kind of upset the T card a little bit with Marshall Tillman. down there in Bay St. Louis.
You see the strong part of Corrie Sanders. He's not only got great power, but he's extremely quick. And he's got Tillman in trouble. Tillman is reeling backwards here in the first round. Tillman trying to gather himself, and right on top of him is Corrie Sanders. Sanders at 21-0 with 14 wins by a knockout. And he has just taken Tillman to the ropes, and Marshall somehow has survived.
Tillman is like a rubber band. You know, he in his 10-round loss to Bone Crusher Smith, he, you know, several times throughout the fight, it seemed like Smith was just drilling him with his big power shots, and Tillman would spring out of there. He really he recovers very well and gives you a hard target to hit him with a clean shot.
There's Sanders again. Very, very active, very busy. The southpaw. He throws the left hand again. Tillman comes back with a right hand of his own, but it didn't land anywhere. And, of course, Corrie Sanders just barely got a bump of the head there. That's one of the things he's got to watch out for in the clashes here in the final 30 seconds of round number one, as he's had the advantage, but Tillman keeps coming at him here. Les Banana now working with Tillman out of New Orleans, Louisiana. It's another good punches here thrown again by the man from South Africa, Corrie Sanders, but look at Tillman, just stays right on top of him. 30 years of age, 6 feet, 213 pounds into this fight today. There's another good left hand as Tillman goes backwards in the final 10 seconds of the round. And he tries to finish with a flurry here. Tillman reeling again. Big left hand. He cannot be saved by the bell in this round now, as he continues to be batted around, and the finish is up over in Corrie Sanders' corner and heads the other way after one.
Today, millions of Americans are caught up in the excitement of the casino life, the anticipation of a big jackpot, the feeling of power that comes over you when the dice are rolling your way. Yet out of all these millions of players, only a handful really know what they're doing. One of these men is John Patrick. John Patrick is a professional gambler, author, and host of his own national TV show. His full-length, in-depth videos have helped thousands of casino players win at craps.
4411.
This is round two of our heavyweight explosion, and the card features Corrie Sanders in the white, undefeated out of South Africa, ranked number 5 by the IBF, number 9 by the WBA and WBC, and Marshall Tillman comes in with his 14-10-1 record, a journeyman challenging the undefeated Sanders today.
Marshall Tillman, he's walking Corrie down here, but, you know, he gets right in the position to punch and then doesn't punch because he wants to keep those hands in there in a defensive position.
You know, we made mention of the knockouts. Corrie Sanders winning the South African Championship by knocking out former champion Johnny Deploy in the first round in South Africa to win that. Came back in 1991. His last 4 fights have come by 4 consecutive knockouts, knocking Mike Brooks out in the first. Bert Cooper, a very impressive one in Atlantic City in the third. George Stevens in almost a walkout fight in the first round. And then Levi Billups in a fight in South Africa. Very impressive first round knockout of Billups. A very good test for Corrie Sanders.
No one ever has done that to Levi Billups what Corrie Sanders did to him. And to me, you know, it just really established him as the real goods in the heavyweight division. This kid's a heck of a prospect because he's not only has he lived clean and work hard and he's got a good trainer in his corner, but he's been blessed with natural punching power. And that's something that, you know, there's an old saying in the business, punchers are born, not made.
Sanders almost comes out of this fight appearing he hasn't brought enough with him in his satchel to go the full 10, even though he can certainly. He wants to finish it early. He's kind of like the short work he's had, getting only a total of 6 rounds total, a little less than that. And the fact they've ended in 3 first-round knockouts and 1 in the third in the last 1 year.
Yeah, Marshall Tillman, there is some nice body work by Corrie Sanders. That's what he's got to do. He's slow this guy down and then, you know, get him out of there. And that's what he plans on doing. Get a little work. It's a different style. You know, he's a tormentor. Marshall Tillman, he'll you know, he'll use that work off that low angle and you know, show you every angle in the. Corey's getting a little bit overzealous on this guy because, you know, Tillman's not trying to do anything offensively. He's in there trying to survive, really, at this stage.
Corey really setting down on punches right now. Came through a very illustrious amateur career with 169 wins, a 7-time South African champion. The Springbok Colors winner, which is one of the most prestigious awards given an amateur athlete in Africa, back in 1988. And again, the 4 early knockouts in the last 1 year, and he's trying to add to that here. And Tillman is almost totally defenseless now here in round 2.
Tillman will fool you. The way he falls around in there, sometimes you think he's right on his way out of there, and he'll come back and try to make something happen. Good body work to finish the round by Corrie Sanders.
Today,
Round 3 of a scheduled 10-rounder. Corrie Sanders on the left in the white out of South Africa, undefeated at 21-0. And the man he's trying to get out early again is Marshall Tillman. Tillman, by the way, has been knocked out in the first by Tommy Morrison, in the 10th by Alex Stewart, in the second round by Carl Williams, also in the 10th round by Bone Crusher Smith. Some of the knockouts that he's had on his loss column here, and Corrie Sanders would like to add to that illustrious list.
But really, other than the Tommy the Duke fight, and Tillman never really, and Carl Williams, he's never been gotten out of there early. He gave Bone Crusher Smith a heck of a fight for 9 rounds before finally succumbing in the final.
By the way, he lost to your heavyweight that you have, Lou Savarese. That came in January of 1991. Pretty good fight, though, in 6 rounds?
Well, it was, really. You look at Marshall Tillman, and you don't expect him to give you much because he doesn't, you know, it's just like a William Morris, you know, so he just, looks can be very deceiving as Corrie bangs around Tillman again. But Tillman, he's like a rubber band, like a Gumby, you know. He just goes with the flow. He rolls in directions when he gets hit with shots that you don't think a body can really go.
You know, Tillman has avoided one of the normal things that happens when you go into the ring with Corrie Sanders, and that's the fact of his knockouts. 14, he's had 10 of those in the first round, and we fight now in the third.
Nice body work by Corrie, though. You know, he's concentrating down on that, trying to bring some uppercuts in, because Marshall's got his hands down, covering his body at this stage. Tillman trying to fight back a little bit here, get some respect, and not let Corrie just walk to him with reckless abandon, but he doesn't have the guns to hold the big South African off him.
If you have not seen Corrie Sanders before, this is an outstanding athlete. He's a world-class rugby player before he turned to full concentration on boxing. He also was sharing his time between boxing and being that of a policeman in his country of South Africa for 4 years, from 85 to 89. And when his stock started to bloom, Rodney Berman, who is his advisor, along with Cedric Kushner, his promoter, and Harold Bulbrick, the man that manages and trains him, elected to go ahead and take him out of all of the other activities and put him in the ring full time, and it's paid dividends with a perfect record so far. And you see what he does. He's very busy, and he knows that Tillman is going to take a lot of punishment, and he's going to try to dish it out as much as he can here, closing seconds of round number 3.
Oh, he's trying to reach underneath when Tillman tries to throw the right hand with the big, nice work underneath by Corrie Sanders. Good work for him here.
Tillman will throw a punch every once in a while. You saw him get a right hand in, but that's probably count those punches on one hand so far in this first 3 rounds. And, big left hand again. Sanders has got Tillman in trouble near the end of the round. He's got time here. Closing 10 seconds. On the ropes. Looks like he'll survive another round as Sanders is being wrestled to the end of the round 3. This is the heavyweight explosion from the Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. Sam Smith along with Bob Spagnola, brought to you by Corona Extra and the Cedric Kushner Sports Network. A momentary break in the action as I want to get some of the Vaseline off the face there of the South African champion, Corrie Sanders. Boy, Sanders has been really great for this heavyweight explosion. He's kind of been one of the real stars, Bob, that we've seen down the pipe here since last June.
And it's been great for him. You know, we knew when we started this series that we were going to get to see, you know, some guys get exposed and some guys use this exposure to catapult into other things. And Corrie, you know, he's been the highlight of it since the Burt Cooper fight, and then Levi Billups after that. He's really established himself as a solid top 10 rated fighter.
You know, that's one of the nice things about the heavyweight explosion. We have been able to see some of the up-and-coming new talent, but we also see some of the guys that still, with the humble jumble going on in the heavyweight, some of those guys that still have a chance to get themselves back in the picture. We're talking to Bone Crusher Smith, and certainly Burt Cooper came back for a while with us. And Tillman again kind of cowering in the corner again here against the onslaught of Corrie Sanders again.
But you see him changing. I mean, he's bending at the waist, and he really makes a hard target, and then he jumps in out of there and tries to hit you with a sucker shot. So that's what Corey's got to be cognizant of.
By the way, if you're wondering which guys went the distance back in the 1992 season, that included Anthony Wade went 10, Mike Dixon went 8, Mike Evans went a top 10, and Johnny Nelson went 10 with Corrie Sanders. And then in 93, turned it on with all those knockouts.
And you look at that Steve Zowski, obvious a real survivor from way back. Anthony Wade, who just went 10 hard rounds with Razor Ruddock on King's big show. You know, Razor Ruddock, no guy to be trifled with. The kind of guys that Mike Dixon, you look at that fight, Corrie was one of the first guys to really put Dixon down with a clean shot, and I think that was one of the first examples of the big left hand that he had.
Here's Sanders again, latching out with the left hand. By the way, Corrie Sanders still calls that Dixon fight the toughest one he's had, and he really goes after Tillman now. Tillman, again, just trying to cover up and now forces Sanders onto the rope. A little love tap to him.
Yeah, Corrie doesn't want to just follow Marshall Tillman all around the ring. He's kind of making Marshall come to him a little bit.
Closing seconds of the fourth round. It'll be interesting to see Corrie Sanders, who has had so little work, as I mentioned, less than 6 rounds in the last year. He has prepared himself properly to come the full 10 rounds. He's fighting here in only the 4th. He's still got that big punch. Tillman's still taking it, though. And a big left hand as Tillman walks out of there.
This is guy. I mean, this isn't Corrie's style or Corrie's fight. It's more Marshall Tillman having imposed his. I don't want to say imposed his will because he hasn't done anything offensively. But
4-4-1-1.
5th round of the schedule. 10-rounder here. Heavyweights on the heavyweight explosion. Corrie Sanders trying to improve that already perfect 21-0 record. And 5th ranking in the world by the International Boxing Federation. Also in the top 10 on the WBA and WBC poll as well. Marshall Tillman, who's been in with some of the best, challenging here today. And he has taken a whale of a group of punches here today from Corrie Sanders. But still, as you can see, still keeps plodding forward here.
He'll start trying to loop his right hand. Corrie seems that they're having a little bit of a problem in the corner. I'm not sure his hand's bothering him or what, but Marshall, you know, he's satisfied not to be getting it really as much as anything else at this stage of the fight.
Frustration a little on the face of Corrie Sanders. I mean, he hit him with some big punches in the first 3 rounds.
Could be some frustration, but you know, really, this is, you know, you can't knock everybody out, especially, you know, this guy, like I said, he's like a Gumby. You see him getting down there. He's got his elbow out there to get some range for him, and he hasn't done anything to Corrie, but made him miss a few punches here. But that could be frustrating to a young kid coming up the ladder like Corrie. He wants to please so much. You know, he wants to please everybody and you know, get those clean knockouts. And Tillman's a very difficult guy to do that against.
Marshall Tillman, last fight we made mention of the exhibition, a win over Jason Williams and then lost to Bone Crusher Smith. Last fight he had in a regulation fight that came in August of '93. He had a second-round knockout of Marcus Dorsey. Dorsey, one of the fighters that went down to the 12 knockouts. Interesting enough, that second-round knockout was his 5th of his career to go along with 5 in the first round. So, again, a 14-win record with 12 knockouts, and he did most of his damage early on. But now he's fighting in the 5th with Corrie Sanders here.
Yeah, Marshall's is a very defensive fighter, but when guys just, you know, throw their own, they're so used to chasing them around the ring that they stop worrying about their own defense. He has caught some guys cold and knocked them cold.
Sanders almost looks like he's relegated this round, number 5, and though now he turns and tries to get some offense going to be pretty much defensive and let Tillman try to punch a few times and try to absorb most of it on the gloves and the arms.
And Corrie likes to counter punch himself, you know. In order to counter it, the other guy's got to lead for you. Then here he goes. He's letting some punches go, but he's decided, I think, that he's not just going to run around after Marshall Tillman here. He's going to let Marshall come to him a little bit and try to counter. There's a shot landed by Tillman and 2 body punches afterwards. An offensive explosion by Marshall Tillman.
And you see the quick hands once again of Corrie Sanders as he fights off the ropes. Finishes round number 5. Again, not an overly offensive round by Tillman. Is
nice quick feet by Corrie Sanders. They're coming around.
Extremely great quickness for a guy of his size.
Some of America.
Animal fetish free.
This is round 6. They're scheduled for 10 in the corner. Les Banana again. They're getting a little bit of time here. Stop for getting some of the ice out of the corner. Over in Tillman's corner, but again, as Bob Spagnola has pointed out earlier in the fight, Sanders' corner wanted Tillman to come to him and try to see if he could counter a little bit. But as you also said, Bob, Tillman didn't throw enough punches for Sanders really do much of a counter. He just kind of leaned on him most of the time.
Well, you know, this is all the maturing process for a heavyweight, you know, the seasoning process. You know, there's a few boos in the crowd, but they're not booing Corrie Sanders. They're kind of getting on Marshall's case a little bit. It's a, you know, Vegas out here, they've got a very experienced fight crowd. You know, they know boxing, and they, you know, they know who's trying to fight and, you know, who's not. So, but Corrie doesn't know that. You know, it's just all part of the business. He knows that. He's sitting here parrying. He's working his way around Tillman, but one thing Marshall Tillman does very well is pivot out to both sides. As you can see him now, he's turning one side, now he's turning out the other. He's got pivoting off that front foot.
Well, it's always great when the South African contingent comes to America. Harold Bolbrick, the manager-trainer for Corrie Sanders, and also with him, of course, the lightweight Philip Holliday, undefeated in his first 18 fights, and also former world champion Brian Mitchell is here in the States working in that corner with Corrie Sanders. Always great to see the former champion. And Tillman took the shot to the body, and he's down. As some of those body shots finally started to take their toll now, and Tillman over in his corner looking down at Les Banana. And now we'll see if he's going to be able to continue this fight. He's down here in the sixth.
Those are the dividends. That body work. And Marshall's got both.
Second knockdown, 3 knockdowns, and this fight is over as Tillman goes down for a second time now. Crowd encouraging to get up. Les Banana across the way encouraging to stay up if he can. And I'm not sure Tillman wants to stay up at all. Here comes Corrie Sanders. Is it over?
We're sure going to find out because Corrie, look at those hands down around that body. That's just where he doesn't want to get hit in that body at all.
And they're going to stop it. This one is over. So they do stop it with a knockout here for Sanders, and it comes in the 6th round. His 15th of his career and his 22nd win of a career that has spanned in his 28 years after that great amateur year in a record of 169 wins. He just keeps adding on, and now he's picked up another knockout here in the States as he wins in Las Vegas. You can see he and Harold Bolbrick having a couple of words with each other. And a little concern on the face that time of Corrie Sanders. I have to agree with Bob Spagnola. There may indeed be something wrong with Corrie Sanders. Either he might have hurt his hand or maybe something over there. But again, maybe we'll get that in our post-fight interview if there was a problem with that corner. A little concern on the face of Harold Bolbrick as well, as Corrie Sanders may have a little smile now. But he again had quite a tough man to try to get out of there. Let's go back here in this 6th round. This is the first knockdown. And let's see if it was the body punch that finally got him out. There again, the straight right hand, and there comes the body punch, and it goes right inside, and then followed it with a right hand. So the left-right combination to the body was what knocked Tillman down, puts him down in his own corner. And after he was up again, here comes another knockdown as he comes to the near ropes. And kind of a coupling blow sends him backwards, and then the left hook puts him down. That was right down in front of us. You can see that he's still aching from the stomach there. And then finally the referee's going to step in and make this one all over as they finish the fight here in the 6th round. For the official time of the stoppage, let's go upstairs.
Winner by TKO, Corrie Sanders, and still undefeated. Let's give an excellent applause to Marshall Tillman.
So Corrie Sanders, not as excited as we probably should be here in Las Vegas, but Sanders again getting it with 2:01. The time of the stoppage of the fight here in the 6th round as he picks up the victory.
Today, millions of Americans are